Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you all are fine, and today we are going to discuss about techniques how to solve an unseen comprehension. Reading comprehension is always a difficult task for a student to do. So in this lesson you will get to know that how to solve a comprehension. What is a comprehension? Comprehension is the complex cognitive process involving the intentional interaction between reader and text to extract meaning. Here are few strategies that we are going to follow. In order for students to be successful while reading, they must employ reading comprehension strategies before, during, and after reading. Before reading. The goal of the strategies used before reading is to activate prior knowledge, increase interest, and to prepare the student for what they are about to read. Then how can we activate our prior knowledge? This is an important strategy for students when reading non-fiction text or any text. The goal is to create a link between what you are about to learn and what you already know. For example, if you are reading a book about insects, you can activate your prior knowledge and think about the insects you know about. Make predictions. Before reading, make predictions about the text. Read the title of the passage and ask yourself what you think might happen in the next. For example, you can make predictions about history, non-fiction text, or science non-fiction text to see what you already know. This will be something you can refer back to at the end of the lesson. Now let's talk about what is during reading. It is crucial for students to use reading comprehension strategies during reading. These strategies guide the students as they read and make sure they understand the text. This is an important step for students metacognitively. They will need to actively think about what they are doing as they read. Create mental pictures. As you read the text, picture what the author is describing. That means you can imagine what the author is telling you in the text. If there are pictures, use these to guide your mental pictures. You can connect the given pictures with your imagination. Create images of what is happening or what might happen next. For example, if you are reading about World War II, pictures the conditions as they are described in the text. Making connections. As you are reading, make connections from what the author is talking about to what you already know. Make sure to adjust your understandings as needed. Do not let your prior knowledge interfere with what you are learning, but do make connections where you can. This is one of the best techniques while reading a text. Mark the text. If you are able, mark the text as you read. You can highlight, underline, or write in the margins important details as you read. Use post-it notes if you are using a book that you cannot mark in. For example, if you are using library books and you are reading some text, so you can use post-it notes. That will help you to make your notes. These small notes will help you to keep track of what you are reading and will you to remember important details. After reading, the strategies that are used after reading the text are just as important as the strategies that are used before and during reading. These strategies help students integrate information from text with their own core knowledge. These strategies reinforce what was learned and make sure effective learning has taken place. Reflect. Once you finish the text, reflect on what you read. You can recall all the points what you have read about. Ask yourself questions such as, did I understand what I just read? Do I need more information? What confused me? Questions such as these can be very helpful to monitor comprehension. After reading, summarize the text as a whole. Make sure you are able to identify the key details and put them into your own words. Think about the fact and be able to summarize the important ones. By putting the text into your own words at the end, you are guiding your comprehension and creating a solid foundation for knowledge that can be used later on. After reading the strategies of solving comprehension, let's talk about the types of comprehension questions. The first type is direct questions. In this, we give direct answers, as answers will be stated plainly in the passage. Task: locate these answers after reading carefully what the question is looking for. Most of the time, we get the comprehension with the direct answers. The direct statements are given as an answers and you just need to locate them and write the answer. For example, what was the main reason? Give two examples. Quote a sentence, explain how, write down one word and expression which shows. Inferential questions, that means relating or resembling to. Read between the lines. Answers cannot be found directly from the passage. You need to find the answer. Make your reduction. You can add and you can deduct some of the words from the sentences. Infer the meaning or answer through given words or phrases from the passage. Even from your own general knowledge, you can answer. These can be the types of inferential questions. Explain clearly. Explain the contrast, suggest how, what do you think, why does the author suggest, and what impression. These all are types of inferential questions. The next type we have rephrasing questions. Rewrite in your own words but keep the meaning same. Read the phrase or sentence in its context in the passage so that your explanation is appropriate to the situation. Rephrasing questions type can be: explain the term, phrase or sentence, explain in your own words. Here is a comprehension for you. The voice of nature. An Aboriginal myth from southern Australia relates how in the beginning the voice of the ancestor spoke each day from a great gum tree, and the tribe gathered around to listen. But as time went by, the people grew weary of hearing his words of wisdom. One by one, they turned their backs on the voice of pursue their own pleasure, and a vast silence settled over the whole of the land and the sea. There was no wind, and the tides were still. No birds sang, and the earth seemed to be dying. The tribe soon wearied of the pleasure of their own making and began to be afraid and lonely. They returned to the great tree again and again, hoping to hear the words that would ease their misery. And one day, the voice of their ancestor spoke again. He told them it was the last time his voice would be heard, but that he would give him a sign. The great tree split open. A huge tongue of light came out into its trunk, and then it closed up again. Since that time, The Aboriginals have known that the voice of their ancestors exists in all the things and speaks to them through very part of nature. And then you will solve the questions. Read the question first. Why did the tribe traditionally gather around the great gum tree? Why did the people abandon this custom, stop going to the tree? What happened to the natural world when the people broke this tradition? And what feelings made the people return to the tree? Question number 1, the answer is the tribe used to gather around the great gum tree to hear the ancestor speak. Question number 2, they abandoned this custom because they grew weary of hearing the ancestors' words of wisdom. Question number 3, when the people broke this tradition, they stopped talking to the tree. There was no wind or tides, no birds sang, and the earth seemed to be dying. And the last question, feelings of fear and loneliness made the people return to the tree. I am sure students this lesson will help you to understand the comprehension, the techniques of solving comprehension, and take care all of you. See you inshallah in the next lesson. Allah Hafiz.